on to the Frisco Bowl, Robert. Let's see what we got here. Well, we got, looking at UTSA, the Road Runners, taking on San Diego State. Total of 50 in this one. -3 for UTSA. So a little Mount West taking on our good friends in Conference USA. Dave, San Diego State, certainly a team that we talked about a number of times on the show this year. How do you think they're going to fare in this one?
I think they'll do well. I'm going to bet this game. I'm going to be taking the Aztecs plus the 3. Look, I know the conference championship game didn't go very well for them, but they had like 20 guys out. And as far as I know, they're all back. So the problems that existed for the game with Utah State, and I think they had, I just don't. They looked flat from the opening minute in that game. Utah State was a lot more excited about the matchup, and it was just a bad San Diego State performance, particularly on the defensive side, where we know the Aztecs are good. I think San Diego State can shut down the San Antonio running game, and if you make Frank Harris start to throw the ball, he can make mistakes. He's a quarterback who thrives when the running game is doing well. San Antonio's had a heck of a year. They're a good story, but I really don't think they should be favored in the game. I think San Diego State, with all the pieces back on the field, is the better football team, and I think they might be a little embarrassed about how badly they got beaten in that conference championship game in what was ostensibly a home game. It wasn't a home game. It was in Carson, not San Diego, but close enough. I think the Aztecs come to play here, and I expect them to win the game. So +3 for me is a take.
All right, liking San Diego State here. How about you, Ralph? How are you looking at this one?
I'm going to go over. And over in the San Diego State game is probably something that hasn't come out of my mouth the last 2 regular seasons. If you watch San Diego State play against San Jose or UNLV, I would tell you they're the worst offense in the country, flat out, period. But then you still look at the way they finished. You score 23 against Nevada. You score 28 against UNLV. You score 27 against Boise. We know this UTSA team is an offensive-driven team. Down the stretch, their defense got gashed. 474 yards against the UAB team that's offensively inept. At North Texas, they gave up 456, and they gave up 562 to Western Kentucky. Dave said Harris has made mistakes. Well, he still has a 25-5 ratio. I mean, it's among the best ratios in the country. The game is in-state in Frisco. I do give UTSA a point or 2 home edge, and I think that's why they're favored in this game. Them coming off the win in the championship against a team coming off a loss in an in-state home rivalry. But again, it's no secret that many more bowl games go over the total in the early bowl games. And when teams start to have meaningful bowl games, December 31st and on, those do tend to go under. Same thing holds true with the dogs early and the favorites later. While it's a very, very big generalization, we will find out year in and year out that does happen more than not. I'm going to go over here, and I think San Diego State does open their offense in this game, really playing without pressure off their loss, and UTSA doing what they continue to do. I mean, UTSA, since they scored 24 against UNLV, besides the Southern Miss game where they got stopped a couple times, you got a team averaging almost 40 points per game, even on the road.
Good stuff there. UTSA, the Road Runners here. What do you think there, Teddy? Is this a team you're looking to back in this bowl spot, Conference USA?
Yeah, the Road Runners are passed for me. Unfortunately, I seem to be contradicting Dave or on the opposite side of a couple of these games with Dave. And these are both conferences that we follow. This is a conference we follow closely. I watched a bunch of San Diego State this year. And to call them inept offensively isn't strong enough. They're Wyoming, okay? They cannot put together. And Wyoming, when the running game's working, Wyoming can put together an 80-yard drive. San Diego State's 80-yard drives this year, few and far between. They're out-yarded every game. They're out first downed every game. They're able to win because they don't make the mistakes that kill them. The turnover battle has worked in their favor. And in fact, the only 2 games they lost all year were the games where they didn't win the turnover battle. They lost both against Fresno and against Utah State. we talk about this San Antonio squad, and they're not a team that turns the ball over. They're not a squad that's going to make a whole bunch of mistakes on a week. They don't beat themselves. And we all talked about the loss at North Texas, a game where, hey, it was a flat spot, they clinched, et cetera, et cetera. And the way they rallied back the next week against Western Kentucky, we can't compare, the San Diego State defense or the San Diego State offense with the Western Kentucky offense. I don't care what Western Kentucky did against UTSA. San Diego State can't do any of that. Right team is favored here. And frankly, I think it's a little bit cheap for the Road Runners. The threes aren't there anymore. It's 2, the prevailing number as we speak. And in a game that I expect the Road Runners to win, that's the only way I can look.
All right, good stuff. Conference USA looking to bounce back. Lost every one of their 6 bowl games last year. We'll see if they can turn it around this year.